Hi everyone, and welcome to this new episode of Furt'Her, Women in Blockchain and AI. I'm very happy today to have Stephanie with us. And what I'm also very happy is that it's not only having Stephanie, but Stephanie was recommended by Maria, which we hosted earlier in another episode. And this is what I really like between women. It's when we help each other and we support each other. So having you, Stephanie, today makes sense. You are also part of Maria's network, and we are expanding the network of women in blockchain and AI and emerging technologies. So you are a researcher for a university in Munich, and you're also an entrepreneur. You have co-founded Secublox, so your own startup. And I am
Mhm.
wondering if you can introduce yourself better than just what I did with shortcuts, but tell us a little bit about you for everyone to understand who you are.
So I think you did it pretty well, like nothing and nothing else to add. I co-founded Secublox, which is a NATO-based startup focusing on secure data infrastructure. And in parallel, I still am doing my PhD. It's because I started a company taking me a little bit longer. But yeah, I'm trying to keep up with it. And through the nature program, I this is also where I met Maria. I'm a huge fangirl of her as a person and also the work that she's doing and just how she carries herself. I find that very inspiring.
Okay, great. Well, I think I have many questions for you also regarding the NATO, the IANA program and Secublox, but I would like to start from the scratch. And how did you start? Why were you interested to jump into those topics, tech, deep tech, and digital trust? And what was your trigger point to enter that industry?
Um, so my entry into tech wasn't planned. It somehow evolved. I would say it evolved through curiosity. I was somehow always drawn to areas where I didn't fully understand. So everything that kind of takes a little bit more time to grasp. And right after university, I began working in the media industry, and I found myself drawn to these kind of topics that are like not instantly accessible. Like marketing a lipstick is straightforward, understanding and communicating the value of printing technology or digital infrastructures that takes more time and effort, and somehow that complexity has appealed to me more. And then it just kind of evolved from there. So I moved into fintech, and this is where like digital trust became or is the central concern. It's like, how do we build system that people trust to handle their financial lives? And then later I moved into the telecom industry, where it's also again about like embedded securities, eSIM authentication. And then it was actually COVID and a great job offer that, and wanting to do something different again, which made me join the university because I missed academia a little bit, and I had the option to work in deep tech and technology adoption, which was very appealing. And this is kind of when I shifted my focus again. And then it was kind of the war in the Ukraine, where it became clear that a lot of the things that I had done earlier, like starting from secure automation and multi-robot systems, like these are the things that are currently needed in defense, and that I had done them before. And then, of course, there's always this component of luck because I met my co-founders at university. And yeah, so looking back, kind of the different pieces fall into one place. And today my work looks at how to build trust in technologies where the stakes are incredibly high, but the path was not planned. I somehow followed it, and it worked out
It's
so
very
far.
interesting, yes, because yes, as Maria mentioned the same, that she met her co-founder by luck. Like she has been working a lot into her different activities, but she wasn't expecting to meet her co-founder that way, and it works properly now. And
Mhm.
having a second inspiring story like yours, saying, okay, I was diving into my activities, and then I met my co-founder. It's very inspiring to hear that because sometimes we have this willingness to build something, we don't have all the elements in hands, but we have to trust also the process and say, okay, I'm committed to doing my activities, and I will
Yeah.
grasp along the way the different doors that are opening. So it's very refreshing to hear that you had that kind of experience.
Yeah, I would totally agree, but also that it takes both. I think some people are just like, oh, I they live in this. I always wanted to, or I always want to found a company, and you have to take initiative. But then it's also a very humbling experience, as in like there are a lot of things that are not in your control. There's this component of luck, but I think there's the saying that also luck meets the ones who are working hard. Like it's both. But then it's like, yeah, trusting the process, the universe, whatever, riding the wave, and being active in this.
Perfect. Well, that's a good story regarding entrepreneurship. And I would like to dive a little bit deeper into Secublox. And
Mhm.
I would like you to explain a little bit what is Secublox and what problem is it solving?
Mhm. So what we are doing is that we are building a new way to store and secure digital data, and this especially in uncertain environments like the public internet. Uh, you might not think that the public internet is unsecure, but if you take environments like digital citizen participation, digital elections, or military context, then it is. And in these more open and unpredictable contexts, you need an infrastructure that can verify and protect identities without laying on the current trust layers. And this is what we're doing. So we ensure that sensitive data and digital interactions remain trustworthy. We're doing this with blockchain, and this becomes currently very relevant in defense settings, but it goes beyond that. And for me, the slogan is always that we believe that democracy and defense are two sides of the same coin. So digital citizen participation, deepfake prevention, this is where this component of trust really, really matters. And we basically provide the infrastructure that supports both domains.
And how does it work then? Because you have this infrastructure service solution that
Mhm,
you sell to different type of entities, I suppose, and
mhm,
they implement that towards their clients or their participants, and those end users have their decentralized identities recorded on their devices. How does it work? Is it
mhm.
decentralized?
It is decentralized. We're working with blockchain. We're currently B2B. So the main big areas is public administration. So for digital elections, and because you, due to legal reasons, can't do that like in Estonia, but you have to do it in smaller realms. So we do something with the city of Munich, for example. And in defense, it's also like B2B, and you would put it's kind of a trust layer, basically, like what we are doing, like more blockchain enhanced. It also is super critical now with more AI-based decision making, where you really need to like make the data audible and traceable, because there is a component which says even though you automate a lot, there must be a human in the loop,
Yeah.
especially in defense situations. And this is where blockchain plays a super crucial role, because you cannot manipulate the data. You're really able to say, okay, I can trust this data. It has not been manipulated by someone else, and then like, I don't know, taking control of drone swarms or whatever. And we basically have this layer, and then it's been put on top by enterprises. I think till we reach end consumers, it will take some time, just because the adoption is slower. Also, the topic of deepfake prevention, like you can do it with cryptographic watermarking, and it's super essential in all areas where security, or where you really need to trust the data. But if you kind of manipulate, like if consumers manipulate some of their pictures, and in a way we do when we put on filters and like various reasons, there's not so much damage caused. I think media will like might very soon adopt it as well, because there is the whole necessity to really understand which data can I trust? Has it been manipulated? Is this really like the
Mhm.
original picture from the plane crash in India? I saw some pictures where like that were, yeah, manipulated or faked or generated by AI. And if you cannot discern it anymore, this is then where this trust layer comes in handy.
And so, as you mentioned, for the moment, the service is used internally. It's not yet reaching end consumer, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
Okay, okay, okay. But then indeed it's to secure the data internally.
Um, internally, as in within the defense, so within the military, when they have, for example, drones communicating with each other, and in like public administration, when you have internal processes in public administration, but it's not as in like a consumer app or someone will kind of have in contact. It's like really purely B2B currently.
Okay,
B2B or B2G. So within a lot within the government realm.
okay. That's very interesting. And how do you see when you present your product? What is the reaction?
Um, I think, and this is why in the governmental environment, they see the need. They see the need like if they build decision on manipulated data, it has massive consequences. And this is for why for them it is an issue. And even if they like if you automate certain processes within government structures, with AI, you need to be able to really audit and track and make sure that this data has not been manipulated in any way. And because they see the need and they have a problem there, is why we are getting a lot of attention and traction.
And so you spoke about blockchain use internally. So I believe it's permissioned and not permissionless blockchain. It's
Yeah, we
only
are agnostic. Mhm,
okay. And
mhm.
what I was thinking about, yes, was it the best solution, the best technology to address those challenges, or did you explore also other technologies?
So we really have this, we've been talking about this internally. I think I hope this is fine with your podcast, but I wouldn't label us a Web3
Yeah.
company. We also use other technologies. For example, we have an FPGA device where we have, because at one point of time, you need to already kind of protect data at the moment of inception. So we're
Yes.
also going into hardware and using different technologies. And for us, it's more like use the right technology at the right time. And blockchain, I would say, has sometimes been, from a technology adoption perspective, it's super interesting because it has been kind of like hyped. And then people were talking about like, oh, you can do WhatsApp on blockchain. But if I communicate like, hey, can you if you come by the supermarket, can you bring me milk? The WhatsApp um the WhatsApp security layer is totally fine. But I think now with the rise of AI, um, this immutability of data and the ability to basically also kind of share data, but still have a sovereignty of data
Mhm.
is where it's really getting interesting. That is my personal hypothesis that a lot of the features, and there is a study from Gartner, which kind of also supports this, or I think I have it from there, that now a lot of the features from blockchain really will come into play because you have other technologies like AI, IoT, really
Quantum.
making it
Yeah.
necessary. Mhm.
Yeah. Okay, interesting. Um, so I have another question for you regarding the launch of Secublox. I would like to
Mhm.
know what was your journey from the lab to startup? How did you build that project?
Mm, so we it didn't start off with like, hey, we want to found a company. It was really kind of in the lab, as in like I come from technology adoption and a lot like how you can bring research results into entrepreneurship. And we just started experimenting, and we started experimenting then with drones. It was also this aspect of data sharing, like, hey, how can we like maybe share data from the different institutes, but then the different institutes didn't want to give their data away. This is why how we then came up with blockchain. And then someone said like, hey, you could use that for autonomous drone swarms to kind of like audit that. and this is what we did. And then someone from Airbus actually saw this and said like, oh, that would be something that we are interested in. And that basically made us like forced us to become a company because they said, we'll give you a PO number if you give us a company registration number. And this is when we kind of made it official. But I would not say that we're out of the lab. So for me, it's always this, I read a lot of papers. I'm always like, okay, what is happening? And especially in tech, I think it's this like constantly kind of going back, seeing what is the latest, what is research saying, but then not just staying there because in theory everything is always easy, but then putting it into practice. And this is yeah, what we are doing, or what my philosophy would be.
Very interesting. Thank you for sharing, Stephanie. I was wondering when you said that you were seen by Airbus or you were seen by other
Mhm.
companies that showed interest, like what does it mean? Like you were publishing about what you were experimenting and then they reached out, but how can you be seen as a startup?
Pitch, pitch, pitch.
Ah, okay. You were pitching. You are
There
pitching.
were
Okay. Okay.
pitching. There was like tech
Okay.
conferences where we kind of talked about our experiments. There are like in academia, you sometimes have these poster sessions where you
Yes.
can present an idea which is kind of still raw, or you might be thinking about it. So we, at a very early stage, went out and kind of like, but not with a purpose already to found a company, more as in like, hey, are there any others out there who also think in this direction and who want to join us? And then
And
it
are
kind of
you open to have other people on board, or how is it going for the moment with the project?
yes, anyone listening. We are, I mean, we are still a small team, and one must also say, we were founded, we are a year and a month old. We were founded in May 2024.
Okay,
Um,
happy birthday.
yeah, probably start fundraising. We've so far have research grants. We don't just have the NATO program. We also have a research grant from the German Agency for Leap Innovation, which enabled us quite a little bit. Ah, and this was also like NATO Diana. We saw the program and like this from the Agency for Leap Innovation, and I thought like, oh, can we apply? Is that like so many people will? And I just did it because I thought like, what do I have to lose? I invested a lot of time in the application and kind of used it as an opportunity to be more clear on the idea and on the vision and what we would like to build. But yeah, that then like winning these awards and getting into these programs also helped massively.
Indeed, but as you said, when you are applying to those different programs, you have to be clear about what is your objective, what do you expect from those programs, how would you like to drive your business, because this is what they expect from you, and it's not always easy to fill in all those applications, but it is a process, huh? So.
Yeah, it's a process. So um I didn't, I personally thought, but that might also be me and more like on the self-doubt side of things. I thought like, no, we're never gonna make it. But still I thought like, you know what? I'm gonna show up. I'm gonna do my best. And then I think once you get accepted into these programs, this is what but also maybe more as a life philosophy, I always think like I'll I'll pour myself in. Like, it's always what you put in is what you get out. It's like either you are these programs, and there are plenty of accelerator programs out there. They present you with opportunities, but still, and I think this is also the core for me of an entrepreneur. It's, do you grasp and take these opportunities and turn them into something, or do you just let them pass by?
Yeah, no, it's very powerful indeed when you apply to those and you dare to apply, as you said. It's it's something that you don't know what would happen if you would be selected or not, if it will go further. But sometimes it doesn't bring maybe what you expected, an acceptance, but it can bring someone reaching out for another opportunity. So it's always, I feel, good to apply if you feel that it can brings you something. But you could also be surprised sometimes. And also, what I would like to share is that I also apply to different kind of programs, and sometimes I apply one year and I'm not accepted. I apply the second year and then I am accepted. So it's also about perseverance. And your project evolve during time as well. So it's maybe not the right fit for the program the one year, but the next year it will. So because you pivoted or whatever. But it's also like I feel a lesson that you don't have to keep the no as a definite no, but to continue to believe in your project, in your product, in your service. So
I would totally agree, and also tie to what we said earlier as this like in we said earlier trust the process, but I would also add enjoy the process. So
yes.
sometimes these
Um,
applications force me to write something down because often it is we have something in our head, and in our head it's super super clear. But if you have these applications or a pitch and you're given a certain amount of time, that forces you to be very very precise, and everything that like yeah, it might make sense in your head, but bringing the topic across, being more concrete in your idea, this is what I often also use these applications or pitches for, because it kind of forces me to kind of develop rough ideas further and write it down and really be articulate on it. And then yes, of course, I start because I want to win, but I also see it like even I will try next time if I get rejected. And I always just looking at the documents or at the application forms, just the process of I read something. I mean, LinkedIn is currently full of AI recommendations, but there was an interesting question or post on would you, if AI generated all the slides for you, would you just take it? And the person said like no, because this process of kind of developing your idea further is so valuable.
mhm.
Because when you present in front of a VC, they'll see the presentation, but they'll ask a lot of questions. And if you've
Cool.
gone through the whole thought process, you will be able to like answer them. Yes, thought about
Yeah.
this. Yes, next question, next question. But it's so I think often the result is not just like a slide deck or an application, but it's like I've grasped and really fully understood a topic or an idea in all its dimension, and I'm able to answer all the questions. And if you get further in the application, usually you have to present in front of a jury,
Yeah.
and then these questions will come, and then you are prepared
It's
in
just
this
that you
way.
better own the content when you
Yeah.
build it yourself than when it's built artificially. Of course, it can help you and support you in
Yeah.
developing your pitch and whatever. But when you work on it, you own it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
if you use only AI and just publish it as it is, it's true that you don't relate to what you have done, and it may be more challenging to present it.
Yeah.
Um, Let me see. I have a few more questions for you. I'm just checking time to make sure that we have like the chance to do different questions. So I have one about yes, again, we will stay around Secublox because it's your startup. And I would like to know, since it's a secure infrastructure, how do you shift your mindset between innovation and responsibility?
Mm, I I wouldn't say that these are two different things. For me, they they belong very much they belong very, very much together. I've been through my PhD, I had the opportunity to take a course on responsible research on innovation in the Netherlands. And this kind of I've always been carrying these principles with me ever since. And I think innovation, especially in the fields like defense and cybersecurity, doesn't just ask what's possible, it always has to ask what is responsible. And this is one point that I find increasingly also a little bit concerning because there's currently, due to geopolitical reasons, a growing interest in the defense sector, driven by market potential and because there's money. But um, this is not like launching a sneaker startup. In like defense, the stake are human lives, and any entrepreneurial activity in this space carries a very different weight. And so for me, in this responsibility isn't a nice to have.
Mhm.
It has to be at the core of your work. And that's something I try to live by. And
But don't you think that sometimes innovation goes quicker than responsibility, and we have to grasp responsibility after innovating?
um, it
Because
might be that
we,
innovation goes
yeah,
quicker, and then you just realize what are the consequences. But I think for a lot of stuff, it doesn't. There's no excuse in like still, if you think about innovation, already think like, okay, what could be the potential responsible like
okay.
consequences of it, and how would I react to it? So not just like as an afterthought, but to kind of already ingrain it in your process um of innovation. And I mean, what we are doing is basically like also taking responsibility of the innovation of AI, which has then
Yeah.
consequences, as in like you need to audit it. So for me, this is why it's kind of it goes hand in hand. It might be at one point of time that like innovation is on the push, but then you have to like already think like, okay, it's always this, what are the consequences? How can I react to it? And you might be or react with innovation to the consequences of
Yeah.
innovation in a responsible way.
Yeah, but it's reassuring to hear you because it's true that for AI mostly there are a lot of how do you say worries around
Mhm.
the development of AI and the innovation around AI for how it could impact our society, and maybe we could lose track of our control of this innovation. So
Mhm.
knowing and hearing that you, for example, as a founder of a startup, you take it into consideration since the start, it's very reassuring to hear that. That it's not only about your solution, but it's also how you build your solution and what impact it has.
Yeah, in a way we were because the topic came up as in like automated systems where AI is taking control, and then it was like, okay, if AI is controlling it, someone can hack into it and like take over control, and how do we secure it? And that then it was like with you could do that with blockchain. And also this whole like even though AI takes decisions or might be there's always this human in the loop, and
Yeah.
then you need to be super super sure that this data is like at no point manipulated. So yeah, it was kind of a responsible innovation answer to the innovation of AI.
Okay. Okay. Great to hear. Let me go on something a little bit more personal.
Mhm.
Um, Let me see which one I have, which is you have said that good questions are more powerful than perfect answers. What's a question you have been thinking about lately?
Mm, uh, I always have super, super many questions. Um, I guess like everyone, with the rise of AI, everything related around intelligence and creativity. What do we really mean when we say a machine is intelligent? What is thinking, and what happens when machines start doing something that looks like it? How does that change our understanding of being human? And in defense, I think a lot about conflict, like what caused it, how it could escalate, what mechanisms, technological or human, how can we de-escalate? How can we redesign systems to support peace? everything like democracy related, like populism, like I think I don't know anyone watching the news or being a little bit attentive to what is happening around us is yeah, it stirs a lot of questions. And then there's just thinking if this is too personal, but when you ask what I'm currently thinking about is or what is in my mind a lot is that uh the my my partner lives with ME/CFS, which is a chronic illness. And there are days when like taking a shower is the equivalent of a full-time job for him. And that reality feels so his reality feels so apart from this fast-paced startup environment that
Mm.
I am often in, which is like iteration and speed, and everyone is so important. And it also makes me think about this like what is healthy and what is illness, and also what a privilege is that like I want to feel my body. I'm like, oh, I need to go for a run because to clear my head. But if someone is chronically ill, like his body is always present and needs attention. And then this whole question, like, how do we define ourselves over productivity? Who are we? Um, yeah, so kind of
Many
these different
questions, Stephanie.
ambiguity. Oh yeah, sorry. But yeah, I um.
It's very, when I was listening to you, what came to my mind is that it's like when you ask yourself those questions, it's eye-opening, but it's also soul-opening. So it's for me, it's like building your awareness in this world.
Mm,
It's by asking question, because it's when
mm,
you ask question that you can explore different realities, that you can explore also how you could have an impact in the world, what are the different visions from the different people, as you said, also different realities from the different people around you. So it's really, I feel like by asking questions that we can explore and be more aware of who we are. And it starts with ourselves. So it's very nice to hear that you have those question inside of you and that it allows you to develop yourself actually. Um,
yeah, I'm always a little bit critical if there are people who like I figured it out or I know how it's working. Because I'm like, I don't know. I think if you really dive deeper into a topic and don't just stay on the surface, then more questions arise. But
mhm.
like this is a process that I actually like, and also to kind of being on the analytical side, but I think also a lot of the stuff uh you have to have empathy, and you can intellectualize it and like understand it from an intellectual perspective, but this is not then not going deep enough, and you also need to say like, hey, what is it doing, what does it really mean, and combining this for me, everyone is individual, but for me
Yeah,
the where I thrive like or like I guess my way of how I roll, one would probably say. Yeah.
that's very inspiring. Thank you for sharing, Stephanie. It's really something that it's a life experience what we are doing here. So we all have we all have our different realities, but as long as we feel in peace with ourselves and that we can develop indeed between mental and could be intuition and spirituality and everything to find our own balance, it's very important. And it's not something that we are taught at school usually. So it's something that we develop with experience in life, how to find out the different resources in ourselves. Uh,
Mhm.
that's something we explore and we discover. Um,
I also find deeply technical people actually very highly intuitive. I don't have enough
Interesting.
patterns, but I know a lot of people like great mathematicians who are like excellent piano players. And I
Okay.
think it's often about like it's a form of pattern recognition, but maybe on different levels. This structure rhyme music is like on different levels, something very structured. I I know sometimes people see it as different worlds, but I think to be analytical, you need to be a good listener. There's um, this openness to kind of reflect on assumptions, on your own assumptions, to entertain the idea that the other person might be right, um, and that is what for me empathy is at its core, like a curiosity about the other perspective. Um, yeah,
Yeah,
hold
curiosity and
the truth.
acceptance. Yeah,
Yeah. Or
awesome.
there's what people say we lack in this world, like a tolerance for ambiguity. This can be right, and this perspective as well, and they both exist at the same time.
It's a coexistence, this world.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
all coexist one with each other. Let me see. So we have been through the different questions, Stephanie, for today, and I was very happy to hear about your path and what you have been achieving during your career, and also what you're going to achieve. I wish you all the best with your venture. And we'll see if anyone in listening to our podcast is willing to join you and maybe apply and reach out to you. Is there any preferred way you would like the interested person to reach you?
Please just ping me on LinkedIn. Happy to connect and then take it further. I also truly believe in the principle of higher the like not you should be like in the tech scene, but it's mainly about this kind of attitude of wanting to really make a difference and get things going, not being afraid of technology, but actually embracing it.
That's very powerful as a closure. Thank you very much, Stephanie.
Merci, merci. Thank you very
De
much.
rien, with pleasure. And I was very happy to meet you today. Thanks very much.
Thank you.